So in this bonus lesson, I want to talk to you about dynamic sorting. In lecture 44 on section 6, we talked about recording a macro, but we didn't talk really about the bits and pieces about sorting. So here's this macro one. We talked about how you could set and clear the sort fields and then add your own sort fields. The only key that we used was B2 through B11 in this example. And really it doesn't matter that it's 2 through 11. The idea is that there's a key 1 and you can have a secondary key if you have more than one sort field. So what we're taking from this is that the very first key is we're sorting by the second column, column B. So whatever's in here, that's what we're going to sort by. If you wanted to add an additional key, you could add more. In fact, we could see what that looks like by going to data, going to sort, by going to record macro, and then we're going to, if we sorted it using multiple ranges. So let's go ahead and take the title would be column B. Let's add a level just to show you what that would look like. So sorted by the title and then secondary sort by the name. So if we stop recording under the developer tab and we immediately Alt F11 to look at macro 4 that we just recorded, which should be in a very brand new module 7 here. So we see that the first key is range B2 through B11, and then we have an additional key that is talking all the facets of the secondary key. So firstly by B and secondly by A. So by the title and then by the name. So what I want to show you right now, however, is in, let's see, module 4. Here we are. I want to show you how to manipulate these dynamically. So someone asked, can I sort it to where no matter what the last row is, it's sorting by that? And the answer is absolutely yes. We're going to do that very quickly. First, I'm going to copy all this code that we recorded in macro number 1, and we'll just make a new macro here at the bottom. We're going to call this sub dynamic sorting. Hit enter. So I'm going to paste all that, and here is our macro right here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get the last row. So I'm going to say my last row, my LR equals, and then we're going to do our standard this workbook.sheets, give the name of the sheet, which in this case is sheet 1, and we're going to use cells rows.count, comma 1.end xlup.row. So we've just done all that just to get the last row, and that will be trapped in the variable called myLR. So I'll go ahead and debug through to show you what I'm going to do here. So I'm hitting F8 to debug. So we get the last row. It is currently 11, but won't always be. So when we get to the point where we're working with hard-coded things, we're actually just going to manipulate it a little bit. So we're going to say B2 through B and join that with the number 11, which is myLR. This way it'll be dynamic, B through to B11. But if this is 12, if we add something, it would say B2 through B and join that with the number 11. So the range was now dynamic. We'll do the same thing up here, A1 through D, and take out 11, hard-coded, and we'll just paste and myLR. So now it would be A1 through D, whatever the last row is. And everything else can be the same. The headers, yes. Everything else will be the same. So let me show you what that looks like. A1 through D11. Yes, it applies the sort. That's kind of boring until we see how dynamic this is. So let's add something else. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. And this is going to be Z, Z, Z. And a bunch of random characters here. And this will be 5, 5, 5. That's good enough. Now what I'm going to do, Alt F11. We'll just, I'm going to debug through this a little bit more. 14. So now B2 through B14. Let me hit F5 and just show you the sort happen. So now you see that in the background the sort has happened. This one went to the bottom because it's sorting by column B, and so on and so forth. Now, as an added touch here, let's go ahead and insert a button. Actually, one thing I like to do is insert a shape. So I go to Insert, I go to Shapes, and I'll do a nice little oval. And I'll say, click to sort. Then I'll right click on this, and I'm going to say Assign Macro. And I'm going to use only macros in this workbook, and I want the one called Dynamic Sorting. It knows to use this particular page, and it knows all the rules. So if I take these two records out and click on this macro, what do you know? It's just sorted my list. ABC 555, and if I click to sort, it is, let's see, let me click to sort. Oh, yeah, it's taking the last row from here, so you do need to have everything filled in. Click to sort, and that's how you dynamically will update the sort.